Hey guys, Marsingin here, bringing you a Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so the big speculation in the community at the moment is that the upcoming Dokkan festival that should be releasing by the end of this coming week, obviously today is Saturday, the sales and the Kai banner and everything that's up in the game at the moment indicate that the new Dokkan Fest should be coming out end of next week. The sales end on the 27th, there's maintenance on the 28th, and the Kai banner ends late on the evening in the 28th or early in the morning 29th for the UK. So that would lead us into very late evening Thursday or early morning Friday, which is a pretty standard time for a Dokkan festival, like new banner and new celebration to be dropping, and it lines up with the release of the Android 21 from last year. So maybe because it was Android 21 last year and it followed on from Heroes, maybe it's because, you know, there's been a bunch of other things going on, Sparking Zero, Xenoverse getting more DLC, all that kind of stuff. The big speculation in the community is that this will be a crossover Dokkan Fest. Now, I already did a video talking about Gohan Black. I still think that would be a very likely possibility. Minato pointed out something on the podcast last night, which I think is kind of funny, that the unit basically is coming out on like Black Friday, or like as part of the, well, the Black Friday celebration is going on. So for it to be Goku Black related would be kind of funny. And we talked about in that video, right, they said on a recent banner that Rose would be returning soon on another banner, physical Rose. So that would make a lot of sense if it was a Gohan Black Sparking Zero crossover. All of that stuff would be very interesting. If you want to hear more thoughts about that from me, do check out the Gohan Black video on the channel. But today we are going to talk about the possibility of the XENOVERSE collab and a XENOVERSE crossover Dokkan Fest, which is something that I do think is a possibility based on, like I say, things going on in the environment of the game at the moment, including the new recent DLC that came out, as well as some stuff that we know is going to be coming out soon on both versions of the game, or at least, well, I say both versions actually. Something that we know that's going to be coming out on global, although I don't know if they would, I don't think they would plan the next Dokkan release for both versions based on a global only thing, but you never know. So we'll jump in. So obviously we've got the crossover category here. The thing that I wanted to draw attention to, and it's something that when this first appeared in Xenoverse 2, a DLC or two ago, it was something that immediately people said, oh, you know, this could be an interesting crossover for Dokkan. And that is this thing, the Ultra, it's called Ultra Super Villain form. So we're on the, just on the Dragon Ball wiki, because it mentions stuff from, pulls stuff from all the other random games and stuff. So Ultra Super Villain is a dark power-up developed by Fu that succeeds the supervillain form developed by his mother Toa. Obviously in Xenoverse 1, you fought these like supercharged, like supervillain versions of the bosses. And so yeah, Fu has developed Ultra Supervillain, which you can see here has the like very rosé-like aura. It says here it's granted from giving someone a pink crystal embedded into their chest, involved in a black and dark pink aura similar to Super Saiyan Rosé. More enhanced version of the form cloaks their body and changes their iris's colour to a pink texture, reminiscent to the work of the gods. The crazy, like, Goku Black stuff, essentially. So yeah, it talks about a little bit about how those forms are used and what happens in the DLCs, and then it talks about the characters who have had the forms so far. So Broly, I think, was the first one, and then you fight against him. All the warriors give their power to the player character to defeat him. Then obviously we have Goku Black getting the crazy extra power up for the Future Saga. You can see down here, it's actually cut off because this annoyingly isn't the best screen for viewing. Is that one better? Yeah, that one's better. So you can see here like the crystal on the bottom right corner of the picture in his chest. There's a slightly better version of the Broly one. And then we have the Vegeta one, which I think a lot of people thought would be really cool because it's basically Super Saiyan God Vegeta, but with this aura. A lot of people, when we saw the first clips of the DLC, like announcement and everything, thought that this was like a Super Saiyan Rosé Vegeta because this Ultra Super Villain thing is kind of similar, right, to the Rosé form. So that would be very interesting. And then the latest one adds Jiren as well. So this is the thing I was saying about, like, with the global timeline, is we know that global is going to get Carnival LR Jiren sometime soon. So it'd be kind of crazy if we got a Dokkan Fest release at the end of next week that was like Ultra Super Villain Jiren, because of course he'd have a unique name. I imagine he'd have a very similar link set, and then of course would be another character that would be usable with the upcoming LR, because regardless of any other categories they would give these guys, like I don't know if they would have Corroded Body and Mind. I imagine they probably would, but if it's a Jiren, he would still be on Universe 11, I would imagine. Also, I wonder if, like, would they give them all Realm of Gods, potentially? I don't know. I guess it depends. Demonic Power, maybe? If it's the power-up developed by Fu, would all of these guys just get Demonic Power if they don't have it already? That would certainly be interesting. And this has changed to 2 Jirens. There we go. Vegeta would be really cool. Now, the big thing is, I do want it to be an extreme unit. Because Gohan Black being a good example, or obviously like Goku Black, Broly, probably, although they did talk about, actually, this is another thing Minato mentioned on the podcast last night. Remember that during the worldwide celebration, they did specifically say that they didn't easy A that free-to-play Tech Paragus because he's going to get an easy A in another celebration. Now, obviously, they could be talking about another celebration that's like 6 months to a year away, but they could just be referring to another celebration upcoming that features another version of Broly. Now, obviously, that would be a lot of Broly representation in this year if we got the we got this like ultra super villain Broly as well, after having a basically full-on Broly dedicated worldwide celebration. But would still be very interesting because it would be another uniquely named Broly for those teams. Paragus could get his easy A. That would certainly be very interesting. But yeah, Broly, Gohan Black, or Goku Black, these are the ones that I kind of want the most, because with the release of the Heroes characters from this year, we didn't get a new Extreme 200% leader, and I really want to run like a full Extreme Heroes team, which I guess technically it wouldn't be Heroes, right? But as long as the new unit has a crossover leader skill, then it would be fine. Because then you get like the Demigra that wants the full extreme rotation in order to get his damage reduction. When they do eventually easy A the next set of units, we obviously have no idea whether they're going to make us wait until next November. Now that we're not getting dedicated hero celebrations anymore, there's no reason why they can't drop these other heroes easy A's early. So like Heart's getting an easy A, he wants to be run with extreme crossover characters. His easy A has some really good potential. I did a video the other day using him like now on the new heroes team, and he kind of just about manages to get by, but with an easy A, he'd be really, really good. So I do really want the character to be extreme. I don't know if just by having this ultra super villain power up, it would just make them extreme. Like if they did do Vegeta, like would he be extreme if it was ultra super villain Vegeta? I guess as long as it is, that would be fine. But yeah, that would be pretty cool. There's some other pictures here. There's the Rosé, like the actual in-game character art. There's the Vegeta. It's pretty cool. So yeah, this would be really cool for a Xenoverse crossover to get an ultra super villain character, regardless of who it is, as one of the characters in the game. I think that would definitely be very, very cool. And as we've talked about multiple times, one of the reasons why we want to see a Xenoverse crossover come back to the game at some point is because we have all these characters that I talked about in a previous video leading up to the Heroes celebration, all these characters in the game that have the Xenoverse link, right? We've got the Super Saiyan Xenotrunks, the base form Xenotrunks, the Mira, Toa, and then apparently the Demigra page didn't open, but where is he? This guy right here, this Int Demigra, who's interesting because he has a giant form, which as we know is getting an update in some way with the way the mechanic works and everything in the game fairly soon. So these guys getting their easy A's, these units awakened a couple of years ago now. So these guys are in desperate need of their easy A's, and in fact the Xenotrunks are even older. Like the TUR Xenotrunks January 2018, so this unit is over 6 years old. And then the base form Xenotrunks, one of the very early AoE characters in the game, 2016, November 2016, so this unit is over 8 years old now. And the thing is, when it comes to the main Dokkan Fest, like we talked about the DLC characters, like the Ultra Super Villain form, but realistically, like it could be a Toa or a Mira. Mira and Toa together as a card would be kind of cool. Even a Demigra, maybe with the transformation into this final form, but not as a giant form, or maybe it is a giant form, and that is why with the mechanic update that we're getting. But I do think, as I talked about on the podcast last night, if they're going to do a Xenoverse crossover, like Xeno Trunks is the guy, right? He's basically like the leader of the Time Patrol, like Cronoa's right-hand man. Like, him getting an actual Dokkan Fest would be pretty cool. And even though I think they only really go into that in Heroes and not actually in any of the Xenoverse cutscenes or anything, but obviously in Heroes, Xeno Trunks with like the trench coat and everything does go Super Saiyan 3 as well. So imagine if we had either the Dokkan Fest be like a base Xeno Trunks that transforms into Super Saiyan, or even a Super Saiyan one that transforms into Super Saiyan 3. That would be awesome, because obviously that would give him access to a lot of extra categories like Power Beyond Super Saiyan and stuff like that. So I think if we were going to get a Xenoverse crossover, whilst the stuff from the new DLC with the Ultra Supervillain stuff would obviously be very cool, I do still think having Xeno Trunks as he's like the guy, right? He's like the tutorial guy that leads you through the game for both the games. I mean, even though it's not technically like the Xeno Trunks, Trunks is the tutorial guy for the for Dokkan, at least I guess how it was originally with the way this quest and everything was laid out. So I think a Xeno Trunks as a Dokkan Fest could be really cool, but obviously, as I said before, I would very much prefer a extreme character. And then of course, going back to some of these crossover characters, another character who was a very random release, who you guys know obviously has a big place in my heart, is the Masked Saiyan. Now, this guy was such a random release when he came out, because he released on the same banner as the Super Saiyan 3 Tech Angel Goku when he released as the 120 lead for Super Tech. And then this guy was just also a new unit and was just on his banner. And of course, he had his own Dokkan event where you fight him and Mira and Toa to awaken him with his own medals, so he gets Fierce Battle. But he's not a Dokkan Fest, technically. So obviously he's available in every banner. He's a crossover unit with Xenoverse. Be very, very cool to get another Masked Saiyan as well. But obviously he's not anything current or recent in Xenoverse, so I don't know why they would necessarily choose him, whereas Xeno Trunks is always kind of the go-to main character, and then the Ultra Supervillain stuff is the focus of the latest DLC. So I think a Xenoverse collab would definitely be very cool at this time in the game. Let me know what you guys think down below. Do you think if we are getting a crossover Dokkan Fest, do you think it will be Xenoverse, Sparking Zero? Will it be Gohan Black? Will it be something else? Or do you think it could be something completely different? Because one of the things that has been mentioned that people want to see for years now is obviously a crossover with Legends and getting like a Dokkan Fest Shallot or something like that, which could definitely be, you know, nothing in Dokkan is completely impossible, right? So that could potentially happen as well. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Who would you like to see most as a crossover Dokkan Fest? So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.